Get in the game with NFL Sunday Ticket from Rev TV. You'll get every game every Sunday afternoon in crystal clear HD. That's over 220 football games for the entire regular season. Plus, NFL Sunday Ticket gives you up to 8 live games on one screen with Game Mix. You'll get that died and woke up in football heaven experience when you include NFL Red Zone, a channel dedicated to every scoring play from every game and all your fantasy football teams. Get in the game with NFL Sunday Ticket. Call 601-8992 today.
How the National Security Minister feels about the country's new murder record. The Stellar Energy COO says he's sick of people talking about Renwood Wells and the LOI, plus legislation tabled for an overhaul of the country's energy sector. We've got those stories and more coming up tonight. I'm Kyle Joaquin, and NV12 starts right now. To NV12. National Security Minister Dr. Nottage hit out at those critics whom he says have expressed glee in the wake of the new murder record set in the country this week. Nottage also told NV12 he does not agree with the State Minister for National Security's assertion that the F&M government's inaction towards gangs led to the current crime rate. Vonik 2 reports.
Days after the country's murder count hit a record 128, Minister of National Security Dr. Nottage took issue with the word record being used, telling NB12 today he's also dismayed by the delight some people have been taking in the fact that 128 people have been murdered in the Bahamas so far this year.
I'm really surprised and shocked at the glee that some elements seem to have with the fact that there has been an increase in the number of murders beyond the record. All that I know is that we are working very diligently to reduce violent crimes in the country, and unless and until it reduces, we will keep on working.
A new murder record was set on Sunday when a 17-year-old male who was stabbed at a party the night before died in hospital. With just under 2 months remaining before the end of the year, the murder count now stands at 128. The previous murder record was set in 2011 when the country recorded 127 murders. However, Nottage is not too happy with the use of the word record.
Firstly, the fact that you are calling it a record is really unthinkable.
Minister of State for National Security Keith Bell recently asserted that the Ingram administration's inaction towards gang violence between 2007 and 2012 is to blame for the high level of crime occurring today. However, Nottage made it clear he disagrees.
No, that is not my opinion.
That's not your opinion?
No.
What do you think is contributing? Do you think
I've been to that a million times.
Former National Security Minister Tommy Turnquest also disagreed with Bell's comments, calling them idiotic. While contributing to the budget debate in the House of Assembly back in 2011, Nottage, who was in opposition at the time, said the ineffectiveness of the F&M to address growing crime trends and to ensure that crime is kept at manageable levels resulted in the crime explosion. He added that crime and the fear of crime had never been greater, and the Bahamas had never felt as unsafe as it did in 2011. Reporting for NB12, I'm Vonik Tude.
The letter of intent controversy is a non-issue, and Stellar Energy is fed up with politicians using it to push their own agendas, according to the company's COO, J.P. Mickelson, charging that the public at large couldn't care less about the LOI. He said today if opposition leader Dr. Hubert Minnis knows what really happened with the LOI, he should speak to it, and if former F&M MP Fenton Nemore is prepared to be so vocal, he should stop playing political games and instead talk about the issues affecting the nation. Dana Smith reports.
Stellar Energy's Chief Operating Officer J.P. Mickelson said the company is irritated and fed up with politicians using the company and that letter of intent for cheap political gain and to further their political agendas. He said from now on, anytime anyone speaks an untruth, he's going to call them out.
But we as a business are getting slightly and a little bit irritated and tired by politicians or people that are standing on the sidelines using this LOI or Stellar Energy to further their own political agendas. And we're going to stop it. So, moving forward, every time somebody speaks to Stellar or to this LOI without quoting fact, we're going to call them out.
At a press conference this morning, Mickelson declared, "We will not be used as a political tool," and he dubbed the LOI a non-issue. He said the only people with any interest in the year-old document are politicians who believe they have something to gain.
This LOI is a non-issue to no one at this point in time. The only reason why people are still, the only people who are still talking about this LOI are political people that make a living out of politics, whether it's the opposition or people outside of the House of Assembly that lost their seat in the last elections.
Mickelson accused former F&M MP and State Environment Minister Fenton Nemore of playing political games after Nemore this week called on Bamboo Town MP Runward Wells to come clean on that LOI. Mickelson said unless he was hearing things, Wells gave his answers, and he ultimately lost his job. Mickelson said rather than focus on the LOI, politicians should instead look at the issues affecting the nation, like unemployment and high electricity costs.
Maybe Mr. Nemore, since he's so vocal about things, can come up with some solutions himself. Although I highly doubt that he will, because he sure as hell didn't do it the 5 years he got in office when he was in the previous F&M administration.
Mickelson also responded to opposition leader Dr. Hubert Minnis, who yesterday renewed the party's LOI demands. He told our news team government needs to reveal what really went down. However, he added he already knows what went down, but he did not reveal what information he had on the matter.
And if Mr. Minnis says that he has all the answers and all the information, I'm very happy for him. If he has all of that, then why doesn't he speak to it? I think it's more convenient to keep this going for the political side of things. But trust me, the public at large couldn't care less anymore about this LOI. You know what the public at large is worried about? Paying their BEC bill every month.
Back in September, Mickelson said the LOI cost the company more than $1 million, and he wishes they never got it in the first place. Reporting for NB12, I'm Dana Smith.
A new electricity bill was tabled in the House of Assembly today, paving the way for a complete overhaul of the country's energy sector. It was one of 3 bills presented to Parliament today in keeping with government's efforts to significantly reduce the cost of electricity and provide a more reliable power supply. Minister with responsibility for the Bahamas Electricity Corporation, Philip Brave Davis, says Bahamas Power and Light, which will be the new name for BEC, will be a wholly owned subsidiary of the corporation.
The new 100% owned operating subsidiary, which is now called Bahamas Power and Light Company Limited, will operate under private sector management by a service provider in a manner consistent with this government's national energy policy. BPL was incorporated in September of this year, and its board of directors was appointed in the weeks that followed, with Mr. Nathaniel Benaby as chairman. The board's first task was the consideration of a high-quality, all-encompassing, investment-grade business plan, which was presented to Cabinet last week.
Under the bill, the Utilities Regulation and Competition Authority will become an independent regulator of the energy sector. BPL will purchase, generate, transmit, distribute, and sell energy to consumers on New Providence and designated family islands for a minimum of 5 years. According to the bill, BPL will fix its fees and charges in accordance with a tariff established by ERCA. However, Davis says consumers have already started to feel some relief, noting that the fuel surcharge has decreased by 60%.
In October 2014, it was 27.7 cents per kilowatt hour. Now it is 11.4 cents per kilowatt hour in October 2015. More than half the rate, Mr. Speaker.
The passage of the electricity bill will cause the repeal of the Electricity Act and Out Islands Electricity Act, respectively.
Energy reform and reduction in our electricity bill is vital to our national growth and development. While others talk about reform, we are doing it. While others sit in the critics' corner and do what they do best, we soldier on resolutely on behalf of those who sent us here. This PLP government is all about building the best Commonwealth of the Bahamas that we can be.
You're watching the best of Bahamian News. There is more when NB12 returns.